What's up, Internet? My name is Attack Slugget. Welcome to my 2015 Hell in the Cell predictions video. And this video is significant because it is the last time you will ever see 2K15 on this channel. It's donezo. 2K16 is out on Tuesday. Anyway, let's get right into my predictions and hopefully keep this video short. But I always say that, and it always ends up being like 20 minutes, so hopefully it's not 20 minutes. Anyway. Pre-show match, Dolph Ziggler, Cesaro, Neville versus Rusev, Sheamus, and King Batter. This is kind of a last-minute addition because Randy Orton apparently hurt his shoulder taking out the garbage and will not be teaming with Ambrose to fight the Wyatts. So we had this six-man, which we already had on Raw, like this past week, and they're going to do it again. And since the heels won on Raw, certainly the faces are going to win on the pre-show. That is Ziggler, Cesaro, and Neville. At least Cesaro is getting on the card in some capacity, so there is at least that. That moves us on to the biggest question mark of the night, the John Cena United States Open Challenge. Now, it is no secret that John Cena is going on a much-needed vacation, supposedly to film some kind of a fitness show for Fox. Supposedly. Certainly not to get married. And so he's gone until, like, December, like, late December. That's 2 months. So, the big question, besides who is he going to face, is will he drop the belt for those 2 months? Logic says that he should. That he said, you know, that gives you a built-in feud to come back and fight for the belt when you get back. So, certainly. But will John Cena's ego allow him to drop the belt to whoever he has to fight at Hell in the Cell? I'm going to say yes. He will lose the belt, so whoever he fights is going to beat him. The question is, we don't know who that's going to be. That could be literally anybody. I'm going to hope that it's not somebody already on the card. So, you think, you know, since he's no longer on the card, how about you give Dean Ambrose a 2-month run with the U.S. title, you know? You could give it to Samoa Joe. You could, hopefully, perhaps Sami Zayn is, you know, healthy enough to have a match and have him make his main roster debut at Hell in a Cell. There are many options you can be taking for this match, but I think certainly Cena, if he's legitimately going away for 2 months, and all sources indicate that he is going away for 2 months, thank God, you're damn right he should drop the belt. Do what is best for business. Moving on. The Intercontinental Championship, it is Kevin Owens versus the big guy, Ryback. The big pink guy, Ryback. And I think Owens should keep this title. I think he should move into, you know, better feuds with, you know, perhaps like Cesaro and guys like that. I think Owens has been doing rope break! I think Owens has been doing fantastic as of late, even with his short little TV matches. I think he is incredibly entertaining, and certainly having him keep the belt and continue winning certainly lends a bit of much-needed credibility to the Intercontinental title. Yeah, that is a mouthful. The Intercontinental title. Anyway, yeah, so I think Owens retains and hopefully moves on from this Ryback feud to feud with somebody who actually is going to give him more entertaining matches. So hopefully Cesaro, fingers crossed. Anyway, moving on. The Divas Championship, which is Charlotte, who is the champion, versus Nikki Bella. I don't think he went through all that nonsense to put the belt onto Charlotte just to take it off of her a month later. I'm hoping that we can move away from one or both of the Bellas being in title contention, and I'm hoping that they'll move on to, you know, actual legitimate, you know, one-on-one storylines. Give us some Charlotte versus Sasha Banks. Give us some Charlotte versus Becky Lynch. Give us, you know, significant reasons to have one-on-one matches between the Divas and actually make the Divas division in, you know, the main roster be as good as it was on NXT. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not, you know, I'm not optimistic, but I'm hoping for it. And certainly I think Charlotte retains here. I think obviously they're going to have all kinds of shenanigans going on with, you know, the whole 9 or 10 divas they have, etc., etc. Perhaps some Paige, Natalya, although she was taken out. You know, there are things that they can certainly do there. But I think at the end of the day, Charlotte will retain, because I think it's kind of dumb to, you know, not have her retain. So, that moves on to the match that we just saw. that I think the computer got wrong, which is Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt in the cell, meaning supposedly no outside interference from the Wyatts or from Ambrose. So, whether or not they pull the original Kane gimmick of having Braun Strowman tear the fucking door off, which certainly, it's been long enough, people have forgotten about that. They could certainly, that was like 97. They could certainly do that shit again. That would not surprise me. But I think that you've been having this feud for like 5 or 6 months now. It has been a long feud. And clearly, the entire reasoning behind this feud is to make Roman look strong, because they want Roman to be the guy. And certainly, with Cena gone for 2 months, and Randy Orton doing a very poor job of being Duke the Dumpster Drosy, you gotta have a guy being the face for these 2 months. Guess what? It's probably gonna be Roman Reigns. So certainly I can see him going over in this match, and hopefully ending this long, protracted feud. Now, there is a caveat there. At this point, what the fuck? That was just a massacre. That was just a massacre. Now, certainly, when you look at the Wyatt family, even with the mysteriously disappearing Luke Harper, you've now got 4 members of the Wyatt family. In theory, you could add a 5th guy, and then guess what? That means you have a team for Survivor Series. 5 Wyatts versus Roman, Ambrose, and 3 other guys. That's a pretty easy thing to book. But, dear God, please don't drag out this feud until Survivor Series in November. It's gone on long enough. Just let it be over. Just have Reigns go over strong as you want him to do, because obviously he is the next John Cena, because they want that so bad. And if you don't believe that, go look at this year's breast cancer segment. Usually it's all the, survivors and John Cena. This year's all survivors, John Cena and Roman Reigns. Obviously, he is, the golden child. He is the next guy that they want so badly, and they're going to do it whether or not you like it, because that's how Vince McMahon operates. Anyway, I think Reigns goes over here, probably goes over strong, and certainly there could possibly be potential shenanigans from, the Wyatt family, from the returning Rowan and Braun Strowman and whatever else. But I think at the end of the day, Reigns goes over, and obviously, if they're actually going to build the Survivor Series, then that's the only reason you'd have Bray win would be to build the Survivor Series. I don't think they're going to do that. But just putting it out there, it's possible. 5th member, Bo Dallas. Anyway, that moves on to the Tag Team Championship match, and it is a new day. Yes, it is. I think that in this match, which is the New Day as the champions versus the Dudleys, those damn Dudleys, you still have the New Day with their numbers advantage. That is still a thing. Unless that table spot from Raw, which was fucking sick as hell, unless that spot actually took out Xavier Woods from being ringside, you still have the damn numbers game, as Cole would say. So unless the Dudleys can, successfully bring somebody out to even up the numbers game, then the New Day continues to win. Now, certainly, at some point, they're going to have the Dudleys be tag champions. They want that 10-time headline. They're so close. They're going to do it. But do they do it at Hell in a Cell? I don't think they do. Unless they bring out an equalizer. Unless they bring out a 3rd guy to be, a 3rd Dudley to equalize, to even those odds. And if that happens, then certainly they will give the belts to Devon and Bubba Ray. But as long as it is 3-on-2, it is still 3-on-2. So that is my official kind of half-assed. What the fuck was that? I'm trying to finish these damn predictions. These matches, they keep going match, fast. What the fuck? Those matches are going in like no time. Anyway, let's get this shit done. So yeah, the New Day goes over and retains their titles. Speaking of which, that last match, Seth Rollins, who is your World Heavyweight Champion, certainly not going on last. He's got that fucking CM Punk disease of, being the champ and being booked like a chump. Versus the Demon Kane, with, if the Demon Kane does not win, then Corporate Kane gets fired. Look, Rollins is fighting Kane. Kane is literally a grandfather. They're not giving Kane the World Heavyweight title. Not happening. Certainly, they could swerve us and have Kane win for 2 seconds and have Sheamus cash in. Because Sheamus is on the pre-show, so nobody would expect that get people talking and have some buzz to it. Although obviously I don't give a shit about Sheamus as champion, but he's still Mr. Money in the Bank, and it still could happen on any given night, even though he's on the fucking pre-show match. So I think Rollins retains. I think, dear God, Rollins has to retain, because what the fuck else are you doing with this match? Why is this fucking interim match with Kane versus Seth Rollins in 2015? What the fuck are you doing? Is kind of my thought on the matter. So, unless there is a big swerve, which obviously is always possible, but certainly if your main event is Taker and Lesnar, are you really going to swerve hard on Rollins and Kane, or is it just going to be a generic match with Rollins and Kane where Rollins retains and Kane loses because Kane is the most ineffectual heel, the most ineffectual big guy they have next to Mark Henry and The Big Show? Kane is not believably a threat to anybody in 2015, and as much as I've kind of enjoyed the Corporate Kane character, getting him off TV, I'm not going to be upset by that. And certainly, getting him out of main events, much like you don't want to ever have The Big Show being up in your main event scene in 2015, that'd be great. And hopefully, just keep things fresh and get these old guys moved onto a more backstage role or something else. I think they've certainly had their time in the sun. It's been like 20 years. Anyway, Rollins wins, retains his belt, unless there's some Money in the Bank bullshit, then, fucking who knows. I can't predict that. So, that moves us on to the actual main event, which I have my own issues with because, your world title should always be the focal point of your show and your main event, but I'm not in charge of booking, so I can't control that. So your main event is the best of three, between Taker and Lesnar, which started at WrestleMania of last year, and then we had that match at SummerSlam of this year, and then we're having this match at Hell in a Cell. And Taker and Lesnar are 1-1. We're going to ignore all the past, previous, when, 03, 02 stuff, 04, the original Lesnar. We're going to ignore that. So, my gut tells me on this one that Taker, being an old school territory guy, and Taker having been around forever, hopefully will do what is best for business, and that is see the value in having Lesnar be around another couple of years, and Taker certainly not being around much longer considering his age and his health, and that Taker will do the job, put Lesnar over, so that Lesnar can continue to be the final boss of the WWE. Now, I have heard that they might want to screw over Lesnar with whoever he's going to be fighting next. Whoever he's going to be in his next program. So, that is the way you would have Taker win, is if they screwed over Lesnar, and then Taker leaves. Obviously, he doesn't, have a full-time schedule. But, of course, neither does Lesnar. But you're going to start sowing the seeds of what you're going to have as your Mania match for Lesnar. Supposedly. Because certainly they didn't say this third match for Mania between Taker and Lesnar. They were just doing it, kind of right away at Hell in a Cell, which is weird. Anyway, so yes, I think Lesnar goes over, hopefully decisively, and that establishes him as, the main guy to beat whenever he decides to show up, which is, occasionally, and those can be special event marquee matches for whoever gets them. And that's great, and hopefully, that gives Lesnar another 5 years, and then when Lesnar is finally on his way out, he does the same thing for the next guy. That is how the business is supposed to work, and I think certainly Taker, having come up through the territories, and having been in the business for so long, understands that when you're on your way out as an old guy, you put the next guy over. Look at Flair and Michaels. Now, obviously, that's a, kind of not the same kind of situation, but still, you weren't going to have Flair win that match. You were going to have him retire and then have Michaels, have a run for a few more years on that. So, that is more or less my Hell in the Cell predictions for 2015. My apologies for having the game having matches so short. I can't control that. And I'm not going to watch the rest of this match. I really don't care. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Who do you think is going to win at Hell in a Cell this year? And my next video you see me up with a wrestling game will be 2K16 on Tuesday. And I will see you next time. I'm Attack Slug, and I'll see you next time right here on this channel. And I'm out.